Everyone, welcome to That One Jeep channel, and this is That One Jeep. This is that one Jeep that I take out and go off-roading and wheeling, hit some mud, bounce it off a few rocks, and I'm going to take you along with me and go front to back on this and show you what I've done, some of the mods I've made, and how we've got to where we are now. All right, right up front we have the Smittybilt XRC Stinger bumper here for the Jeep. Nice solid bumper. Got the recovery points for your D-rings and any other soft shackles you might run. That's made it up to a Smittybilt XRC winch plate, which holds my Badlands 12,000 pound winch with the Smittybilt synthetic line. I like running the synthetic line over the steel line. You get 2 times the length of the cable at half the weight of the steel. It was a nice upgrade. I liked it a lot. It's got the aluminum red fairlead up front with the Factor 55 shackle system. I like that because it's a closed loop system. It's much safer than having just a hook you would find in your typical winch. Next we're gonna open the hood here, and we're gonna show you what we have underneath the hood and what we've done there. All right, here we are. We've got the venerable Inline 6, the 4-liter. It's got about 100,000 miles on this particular one. If any of you guys own the Inline 6, you know that if it's not leaking, there's something wrong. And in true fashion, this one leaks from the front main seal and the rear main seal. Runs good. No issues with it so far. I've done a couple of things under the hood that are notable. The first and most obvious is I've done a custom cold air intake. I retained my original stock elbow there from the intake, and then I added an inline air filter from, I believe this is a Spectre, and then I took just the corrugated tubing, cut a 3-inch hole in my firewall, and ran it up to an intake out here that's on top of the cowl. A lot of people talk about horsepower and fuel efficiency. I didn't see much of a return from that. What I did see is a significant drop in your air intake temperature overall. Power and everything, we have an Optima yellow top battery. It's the deep cycle version. You gotta have a lot of power, a lot of draw. Helps with the winch. All right, so here we are looking underneath the front of the Jeep here. A couple of things to point out here. I have the Curry Correct Link steering system. It's amazing. They reference it on their website as being pure beef. They are not wrong. It is very solid, has no issues. Something I did to complement that was I took the old Mercedes style gearbox out. With this being a 2003, that's when they changed the steering box bolt pattern. So I took the old Mercedes gearbox out. I re-drilled, re-welded, and remounted up a steering box out of a 99 Dodge Durango. Helps me turn a little bit bigger tires. Connecting the sway bar to the body of the JKS quick disconnects. Real nice, like them a lot. Had no issues with them so far. Pretty quick and easy to work with. Still running the Dana 30 up front. Haven't done much to that aside from did a gear swap, re-geared everything to 410. I have 1 tons on their way. I've got a Super Duty Dana 60 coming, so I have no plans on upgrading this one until it breaks. The suspension kit it's sitting on, it's a 4-inch suspension lift. There is no body lift, and that's all sitting on these big tires right here, which we'll talk about here shortly. All right, the tires we got right here, these are the BFG KM2s. I'm actually really happy with them. I never ran them before, ordered them up, slapped them on. Very road quiet, got good road manners. They don't make a lot of noise. I really enjoy them. I'll actually probably order them again when it comes time. They are sitting on the Mammoth 88 style wheels. All the little red inserts you see here, these were custom done by me. These are removable. You can pull them off, paint them any color you like. These are 35 by 1250s. They're sitting on 15-inch rims. No bead locks yet, but I like them quite a bit. And now I think we'll get underneath the Jeep and we'll talk about what actually makes these things turn. All right, here we are. We've crawled underneath the Jeep and we're looking at the back side of the front axle here. As I said before, the front axle is a Dana 30. You may notice a pumpkin here. You may notice that there is something that is missing. That happens to be my front drive shaft. I managed to blow that up along with my front ring and pinion. We have a link to the video in the description below, and you'll be able to go watch and maybe enjoy or appreciate my carnage. You can also see that I have my adjustable control arms here. I have a full set of adjustable control arms, both uppers and lowers. And you can also see right over here is my Rusty's Off-Road adjustable front track bar. Obviously, once you get above about 3 inches of lift in a TJ, you need to start worrying about alignment and centering of the axles. Next, we're going to go ahead and show you the transmission and the transfer case, and then we'll start moving towards the rear. All right, here we have my transfer case. It is the AX15. It's a manual transmission, 5-speed. It's paired up to the MP231, which I believe has a 4-to-1 ratio. It is a chain-driven transfer case. Here at the back of the Jeep, looking at the rear axle. Traditionally, these Jeeps have the Dana 35 or the Dana 44 in the rear. Mine had the Dana 35. We all know that probably the most interesting thing about the Dana 35 is how frequently they blow up. So obviously, if I'm going to be running 35-inch tires, the last thing I want in here is a 35 axle that might grenade on me on the trail. So what I did is I went to a junkyard and I pulled a Ford 8.8 out of a 99 Explorer, and I went ahead and put an Artec truss on it and did the disc brake conversion and re-geared it to 410, and I put a Spartan lunchbox locker in there and did all the welding up, got everything in place, and slapped it up into the Jeep, and it has been running great for me. I've had no issues with it. It is a beast of an axle. As sad as I am to say, though, it will be going once I put the GM 14-bolt 1-ton in. Along with this axle, I went ahead and made the transfer at that point over to a Tom Woods drive shaft. It is a CV style axle, and it has the slip yoke eliminator, eliminating obviously the issue with the stock axle falling out at heavy flex. Really happy with it. Came pre-balanced, pre-painted. They were real good. You sent them out the measurements. They got it to me very fast. Next, we're going to go ahead and crawl out from underneath here, and we're going to go ahead and go around to the back of the Jeep and talk about some of the other suspension components from the back and a couple of things I did with my shock mounts. All right, here we are on the back side of the Ford 8.8 I was talking about previously. A couple of things to note here. The kit comes with the shock mounts, obviously, which you can weld on anywhere you'd like. One of the things I did do is, instead of keeping them in the stock position where they were a little bit more down, I angled them slightly for a little bit more ground clearance. Not as much as I would have liked. However, it did buy me a few more inches and brought it just above the bottom of the actual differential of the pumpkin, which tells me that if I'm clearing it with the pumpkin, I'm clearing it with my shock mounts. I'm not shearing those off. Another thing of note, but it's difficult to get on camera, is my rear track bar. I did not buy an adjustable one. Instead, I cut my stock track bar, and then I sleeved it, and then I gusseted it, and I welded it back into place, and I lengthened it about 3 inches to keep my my rear axle centered and running how it should be. Next, we're going to take you guys up and out, and we're going to show you a few things on the outside of the Jeep. We're going to look at the armor on the sides and the armor in the rear. All right, everyone, here we are out back up front on top of the Jeep here. We're going to talk a little bit about my fenders. These are the Metalcloak arch fenders. They come complete with your inner fender well, which is aluminum. They are a bolt-in application. One of the only fenders currently on the market for TJs that bolt right in. One of the amazing things about these fenders is that this Jeep had no lift at all whatsoever. You could still run the 35-inch tires and not have to worry about rubbing. They allow you to clear a very big tire. They were an incredible upgrade for me, and they allow me to get a lot of flex and a lot of movement from my front axle. A couple other things of note on the Jeep. I've just got some basic LED lights up front. Like them a lot. Also have a 21-inch light bar up front, and then obviously my 52-inch light bar. I like a lot of light. I like to see where I'm going. I don't know if it's real visible. We also have a decal on the hood. It's just an American flag vinyl decal. And then we do have some aftermarket hood latches. Nothing fancy about these. These are Smittybilt. They just help with a little bit of the hood flutter that you'll encounter with a TJ. Next, we're going to go ahead and move to the side of the Jeep and show you a couple of things we did there. All right, guys, here we are along the side of the Jeep. You can still see kind of the back half of the Metalcloak fenders here, and you can see my rock rails. One of the things the Metalcloak fender does for you is it brings your original wheel, your wheel well back. So the stock wheel well would have actually been right about here where the fender sat, and this brings this up and back. Well, as a result of that, unless you buy from the whole entire Metalcloak kit all the way from Metalcloak, you got to come up with some kind of customization for your rock guards. So I took the rock guards that I had, and I measured them, and I cut them, and I re-angled, and I re-welded everything back in to make them fit evenly across and not have any rubbing issues or overextension on the tires. On the side of the Jeep, you'll see a couple of stickers from some of the people that I'm affiliated with, Ruck Up Jeep Club out of Indiana, or the Indiana chapter, I should say. Not affiliated with Metalcloak, I just have one of their stickers. My Jeep Trail of Honor badges, and the Midwest Jeep Alliance. They're out of Northwest Indiana, the Chicagoland area. They're a great group, do a lot of cool charity work. And then you'll see my combat infantry badge. I was in the military for a while and got that. So we're going to go ahead and move on now to the back of the Jeep and show you a little bit of work I did on my bumper. All right, here we are around back of the Jeep. This is my rear tire carrier, my rear bumper. It is a custom bit of work. I did this myself, had some help from some good friends of mine. We got together and kind of planned it all out. It's a Poison Spider style rear bumper, but I wasn't happy with the way that it was bolted up. Nothing wrong with the product, it just wasn't fitting me. When it originally started out, I just had the tire carrier and the stinger and then the bottom bumper down here. However, recently, while I was at work, some people decided that they really liked my bumper and my tire carrier, and they wanted to steal it. So they went ahead and hooked up to it, and they started tugging and trying to pull it off of my Jeep. Thankfully, someone intervened before they were able to get away with it and make off with it. So then I decided I needed some modifications, and that's what you'll see here. Is I took some corner armor, I had to custom modify it and make it fit with my Metalcloak fenders, which I also have on the rear back here. And then I directly welded my brackets up to it now. So if they want to steal it this time, they're gonna have to tow the whole Jeep out of the parking garage. You'll notice I got a couple of lights in the back. I flush mounted the lights here. These are my reverse lights. They come on with my reverse lights as well as reverse lights in my tail lights. This light's just if I need a little additional light backing up, or if I need to show someone the proper line if they're falling too close behind me. I did do a custom high lift jack mount. I put a couple of angle bends in here with some of this tubing, and I welded on some bolts and was able to thread the high lift jack through there, and then hold it on with a couple of bolts and washers. Welded in a hitch receiver as well, which allows me a recovery point in the back. This is all frame mounted, and I actually have recovered my Jeep from this once when I was stuck in mud and I didn't feel like becoming hip deep in mud myself. So I took a gamble and I hooked a tow line to here, and it pulled right out. Very nice to have. All right guys, so that's kind of an overview of that one Jeep. If you guys watch my other videos and you see me bouncing around on the trails and you're wondering what I've got going on to make it all happen, or in some cases not happen, that's what we're looking at. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Stay tuned. I'll have another video up here shortly of the interior of the vehicle. So look out for that, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys.